Today, I'm going to show you how to create some more Notion formulas that auto-populate properties based off of a date or a date range. For example, first we're going to figure out how to auto-populate a property with a year based off of a date, a month, the day of the week, and other things like that. Also, I'm going to go through all of the basic formulas that have to do with dates, and I'm also going to get into a little bit of date range formulas, one of which also includes a progress bar. So if you're into progress bars, this may be of use to you. Let's get right into it. So as you can see, our property that we're using is date, and I got a bunch of dates here, one of which also has a time. And we're going to create a year property that will grab the year of each of these dates. This one's very, very easy. You're just going to put in year, prop, date. Another parentheses to close it out, and you will get the year. 2020, and some of these down here are 2021. The next one we're going to do is grab a month. Go down to formula, bring this in a little bit. So one way to do this is to just say month, prop, date, like the year. But I have a little bit of an issue with this one. As you can see, June, to me at least, is not 5. June is 6. But in Notion, January is 0 and December is 11. So I want to get around this a little bit. We're not going to use month. We're actually going to use format, date, prop date, comma, and we're going to use 2 M's here and close it out. This will give us the 6. If for some reason you start January on 0, then the shorter formula will work for you. If not, use this. Speaking of months, if we want to just take out the name of the month in its entirety, we're actually going to do 4 M's, and that will give us the entire month. You can also abbreviate the month by using only 3 M's. The next one we're going to do is weekday. We are going to find the day of the week, Monday through Sunday, from the date. And I got a request to do this in an earlier video, which actually inspired this entire video. For this one, we're going to do something very similar. Format, date, prop date, comma, lowercase d, 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 and close it out. Just remember it's lowercase. Now if you want something like a number, you can get that in Notion. So if you want Monday to equal 1, Tuesday to equal 2, Wednesday equal 3, you're going to do a single D, and that will give you 1 through 6, 0 being Sunday. If you want to abbreviate the day of the week, same thing with the month, you're going to do 2 Ds or 3 Ds. Now let's get into something a little bit different. Let's delete these just so we have some space to work with. By the way, I am going to have a template down below with all this in it, so don't worry about that. Let's look at if our date is within the first half of the year or the second half of the year. Call that biannual. First, we're going to find the month that the date is in. So everything before June is going to be the first half of the year, and everything after June is going to be the second half of the year. But we are going to use the month that Notion has, the month function. So it's going to start 0 on January. So we're going to go month, prop, date. We're actually going to make it an if statement. If month of date is greater than or equal to 5, which in this case would be June, question mark, then we're going to print first. Or I'm sorry, greater than would be second. The false condition, so if it's not, then we're going to type first. Add a parentheses, and now we have that. Next, we're going to find the quarter of the year. So we're going to divide the year into quarters. Turn this into a formula. Now we're going to go if month prop date is less than 3, it's going to be called quarter 1. If month prop date, another parentheses to close that out, is less than 6, quarter 2, and if month prop date is less than 9, quarter 3, and if month prop date is less than 12, quarter 4. Otherwise, we'll leave it empty. Oh, it looks like something went wrong. We didn't close out any of these. Okay, now we have the quarters. Now I just want to return the date. So what is in our date? I want to return June 29th. I want to just return that 29. To do that, we're going to do format, date, prop, date. We're going to do a capital D and another capital D and close it out. Now we have that. If you want to find the day into the year, for instance, if you want to find the 102nd day of the year, you're going to put in 3 Ds. So June 29th is the 181st day of the year. Now if you want to find the week number, so the 1st to the 52nd week of the year, you're going to do format, date again, prop, date. I believe it's 2 W's. Right now we are in the 27th week of the year. Now let's find the time. So from our date, if we've included time, include time here, make this 3 p.m. I just want to extract this time. To do that, we're going to do format date again, prop date, capital H, colon, lowercase m, and close it out. Now this is in military time, which I think most of us don't want. I wanted to say 3 p.m. To do that, I'm going to add space here and capital A. But I'm also going to change this double capital H to a single lowercase h. And now we have 3 p.m. And if I were to add times to all of these, they would also update. Let's delete these and start something new. So now I want to create a date property that is formatted in a custom manner. So I just want the abbreviation of the month and the date, and that's it. I just wanted to say June 29th. That's going to look like this. Format date, prop date, and we're going to do MMM, comma, day. Now we have June 29th. Now let's say I want to find the weekday, the month, and the date. Format, date, prop, date, lowercase 4 Ds, maybe a colon, 3 M's actually, comma, 2 uppercase D's, and close that out. Now we have Monday, June 29th. Okay, so this isn't very efficient because I have to manually click this date. And if you really want to cancel out that friction, I would not make this a date property. I would make this a created time property, which populates the date and time that you created the row. The only problem with this is if you want to go and edit a date from yesterday, like say you forgot to fill in properties yesterday and you want to quickly just update it, you won't be able to, because every time you create a row, it's going to be the exact day and time that you created it. So it'll look like this. Let's go back. So the last one I want to do for these basics is to find the days elapsed between right now and the date here. So let's assume that this is deadline. Let's call this date elapsed. So if my deadline is June 29th, I want to know how many days until then I have. I'm going to say date between, which will find the date between two dates. I want to find it between prop date and now. Make sure there's only one prop. Comma, I want to find the amount of days between them and then close it out. This shows that I am -1 day away from June 29th because today is the 30th. 0 days from the 30th. Looks like less than 1 day from the 1st of July, 1 day from the 2nd, and so on. Now let's use what we know here inside a date range. Now I have all of these. To create a date range, you're going to toggle this thing here and date, and you're going to add the end date. So here it is June 28th to July 4th. So we're going to see how we can kind of do a little bit of the same things just with date ranges. Let's find the year of both dates. To do this, we're going to use a function called concat. And concat basically combines two expressions. So we want to find the year from the start of our range and the end of our range, and we want to combine those two things. So format, since this is not a text property and you can only concat text properties, you need to format this date into text. So we'll say format year, just like before, year prop date, except it's going to be date 2 in this instance. Close it out. Then we're going to add maybe a double line here. Actually, as you can see here, it just says year of date 2. We want to find year of start date. So right in here, I actually want to put in start. And now we're going to add format year end prop date 2 and close this out. That's going to give us something like this. Now I want to actually put an arrow in here instead of this double dash. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it in. Put some spaces around it. There you go. Now we have the years. Now let's try to figure out how to find the quarter that these date ranges fall into, like before, the 4 quarters of the year. Except I want to see where the end date falls. So let's call this quarter 2. I want to know where July 4th lies, not so much, because some of these date ranges fall in 2 different quarters. And I think it's a little bit much to return both separate quarters. So we just want to find the quarter that the end date is in. So it's going to be pretty much the same formula. We'll just change these dates to date 2. And we're going to grab the end. So end, end, and end. now we have that. So we're going to find the days between this date range. Just going to go date between end prop date 2 start prop date 2. And we're going to find the days between. All of them should be 6 because they're all 1 week. Now let's get into the progress bar. Let's find the percentage of days elapsed between now and the end date. Or I'm sorry, the start date. So as you can see here, we're now on June 30th. That's the day I'm recording this. And our range is between the 28th and the 4th. So I want to find what percentage within this range we're currently in. It looks like on Tuesday it should return a third of the week complete, and it should return something like 33%. That's what we're going to find. To do this, this is going to be a bit bigger of a formula. To do this, we're going to go if divide date between now start prop date 2 in days, and we're going to divide that by date between the end of prop date 2 and the start of prop date 2 in days. Now, if the result of this division is greater than 0, I want to go ahead and give this result. If not, I want to return an empty space. And I'll get into this 2-number thing in a second. So this is what we have. The only reason why, the reason why only this is populated is because this is the only week that we are currently in. I made sure that every other week came up blank. But before I explain the blank spaces, I want to round this 0.333233 into something that looks nice. So I'm going to go into this bit right here, the bit that's showing, and I want to round this number. So I'm just going to go round 100 times this, and I want to come down here, add another parentheses, and divide by 100, and another parentheses. Now we have that. We're going to go into this 1, 2, 3 button and click percent. We are 33% of the way done with this week. And if I come into the end date here and change it to 2, for instance, now we are 50% done. If I change it to today, it should say 100. Put that back to 4. So now let's explain these blank spaces. So how we created this was, naturally you kind of want to do this blank space for your false condition, but it doesn't work because each branch of these conditions must be the same type. So this blank space is considered a text space or text value, and we're working with numbers here. So we just want to trick the formula into thinking this empty space is a number, so we're just going to say to number. That's why that is like that. Now let's create that progress bar. We're going to take this 33% and turn it into a progress bar with the 33% at the end. I went ahead off camera and I put in the formula, and I'm just going to go through it, because if I just type it out, it's going to get convoluted. So just like in the percentage formula, this first bit here is the same. If our percentage is over 0, that means it signifies that it is in the current week. We are going to show something. This is what we're going to show. See, this first bit's here. What we're going to show is this. So this slice function is going to slice our progress bar at 100%. That is what this is right here. It's going to slice 0 from left to right, but from right to left, over here, we're going to slice all of this out. So whatever the result of this division between now and the start date, and between the end date and the start date, like we have for our percentage, times that by 10, that's how many emojis right here we are going to take away. Okay. From there, we're going to add a space, and then we're going to add the actual percentage. And that's exactly what we have here, where we round this same expression, except we also add a format so that it is a text. And then we add a percentage at the end, and if it is not within, if it is not over 0, just like here, there will be an empty space. Except this time, we don't need to put toNumber because we're dealing with text properties, or text values, sorry. That's pretty much how that works. I hope that made some kind of sense. You're essentially taking what your progress bar looks like at 100% and slicing it from left to right, and then over here from right to left. And it'll come up with your result. Using concat, you can also add on the percentage at the end, and whatever else you want to add into the property. I'm going to provide a template in the description, so you can just look over this yourself. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. And I will probably put up some more formula videos if you want. If you have any questions about dates and auto-populating properties based off of dates, let me know. See you guys next time.